Okay, good morning. Today is Monday, January 10, 2022. It is about 9:03 a.m., 9:04 a.m. by the cell phone. And I'm going to call this regular term meeting of the Bee County Commissioner Court to order. We are physically located at Bee County Courthouse, Commissioner's Courtroom, number 110, 105 West Corpus Christi Street, Beeville, Texas, 78102. That was the call to order. If everybody would please stand, join Commissioner DeWitt in brief prayer.
Father God, we want to thank you for today. Thank you for life. Thank you for putting us on this earth. Help us to make the right decisions for the people of Bee County and for this state. We ask that you hold your hand over our first responders, our police department, our sheriff's office, and all of our military. We ask all these things in thy name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Commissioner. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And the Texas pledge.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. Welcome. I know we have one visitor, Mr. Hinojosa, who's running for Texas State Senate District 27. Thank you for being here this morning. We'll have public comment in a few minutes if you'd like to make a comment to the Commissioner's Court and to our viewers. Thank you so much for being here this morning. Welcome. Are there any other, do we have any other visitors that would like to identify themselves? There's no pressure.
I'm Royce Albright. I'm his campaign manager.
How are you, sir? What was your last name?
Thank you.
What was your last name?
Albright.
Albright, Mr. Albright. Very nice to meet you. Thank you for being here as well. Anybody else? Okay. Moving on. Agenda item number 5, Commissioner's Court opening remarks. I really can't remember. It's been so long. Commissioner Haggard, you get to start.
Mine will be very short. I only have like 5 pages to read.
No rush.
I'm trying to be Commissioner DeWitt. No, actually, nothing really truly going on in the precinct. Everything's moving along. Ray is starting has piled some material there in Papalote, and he's going to start on 628. I have contacted the wind farms on 631. The road's getting a little raggedy. Also, it's kind of where Mr. Saunders came up with January, February, they're going to start repairing the road. So I'm trying to get a start date on that. Looks to me, if you look off to the east, you'll see a huge amount of wind farm towers that weren't originally in the progress. So I think they've added some more to it. So other than that, it's just been simple up and down the road talking to people. So we're doing fine. Thank you.
Over the holidays, we had a power outage at the tax office, and it was a double negative. Our backup didn't go on, and John was on vacation, so was Mr. Oliver, but I thanked them both. They both showed up there in a matter of 15, 20 minutes, and I'll apologize for that. Mr. Willow also was a big help getting this turned back on, and we just didn't have the person that we needed to talk to hey, how do you override this thing? The box wasn't coming on. So now we have that, and several people have the instructions on how to override that. Okay. Because if not, that data would have gone down, and we would have been in the pickle.
Oh, yeah.
So thank you all for doing everything that you did.
So they did real good. Appreciate that, especially John, Mr. Oliver, Mr. Will for coming out and helping. JL Squared finished the remodel and repair at the tax office, so if y'all go by there, you can go take a look at those 2 rooms that were damaged by water. They're finished, and I think they're going to do some curtains because the curtains they took off there were about 50 years old, and they touched them, they fell apart.
JL Squared is going to make
Well,
some
no,
curtains?
somebody's going to make
Thank you,
some
JL
curtains
Squared.
or whatever, but they tried to put them back, and they were just falling apart.
Oh, no.
Really touching it. We have Blanconia Fire Department. We're still working on that. They've got that grant. They're going to have to redo their paperwork for that, and we have another meeting today at the EOC. Mr. Willow's going to head that at 1 o'clock today, so we're trying to get their fire department back up and running. And still working on the grant for the EOC, and I've got some help on that. I don't have any updates on that one right now. Had a meeting with the AEP on a transmission line that's coming in on the east side of Beeville by 202 and the bypass, had some pretty irate people upset about where the transmission line's gonna land across their place. So I think they included you on the meeting on the 24th. They mentioned your name for a meeting. So, Judge, without knowing it, I'm gonna give you a heads up on that. You're gonna,
24th of this month?
24th of this month, 1 o'clock.
Excellent.
So, there is a new transmission line that's gonna come through Beeville, and it's gonna hit on the east end of town.
In the west side. I mean, I'm sorry, in the west side, yeah.
I know it's like,
Mhm.
also,
And
this
then
was the
from
one
Three
that caused,
Rivers to South Beeville and then.
that was not
South
causing any
Beeville
problems
to
in
Toledo.
his precinct. This was
Good.
causing problems over here. Where they were
He's
out.
already handled it.
Huh? Yeah, that's it. Real good, Commissioner. You did great.
You just,
Let me see,
you gave him his number, didn't you?
got a meeting with BDA this afternoon, and that's about it for me. Projects for 22 that I'm targeting is to finish the EOC building, and hopefully we can get the sheriff's office air conditioning units done in 22.
Yes, sir. Those are great goals.
Good goal. All right? That's Commissioner?
Thank you, sir. Good news, if you will. I always look for taxes, where we can get taxes, money coming in. The wind farms in North Peak County and the solar farms, about a quarter to a third of the wind generators are up, the solar panels are up, so those will be on the tax rolls this October. The rest of them should be put up this year, and we'll start getting some tax money from them probably this next year, so that's always a good thing. Another thing, sad note, a good friend of ours, someone we all know, Nubbin Ginn, passed away. A lot of you knew him. His actual name was Ellis Eugene Ginn. Maternal grandmother named him Nubbin. So, if you would, he was 73 years old. The funeral is today at 1 o'clock at the First Baptist Church. But if you would, let's have a moment of silence in his honor, please, and his family's honor, please. Thank you. He was retired DPS officer, was big in the community and well liked. Commissioner, I'll pass it to you, sir.
Thank you. Not a whole lot going on with Christmas holidays, New Year's, whatnot. Ray, thank you. He took care of Trevino and San Patricio Lane. Got some big holes and whatnot patched up. People are happy on it. Working on a mailbox issue over there for those same people. Right now, their mailboxes are on the other side of 181, and they're having to go to the turnaround, and there's one person in particular that just cuts through the median and it's gonna cause an accident, so working on that. Other than that, not a whole lot going on. It's been pretty quiet, so I suspect it'll pick back up here now that everything is, the holidays are over and whatnot, so that's about it.
Thank you all for your comments this morning. It seems like it has been a long time, but it really hasn't, I don't think, since our last meeting. It's been about the average time, since the last meeting. There was really all I have to report, the B Area Partnership had a really nice, first annual, banquet, thank you. I was trying to figure out the right word for it, where, attendees got to hear more about what's going on, from an economic development standpoint within the county, and within the city of Beeville. And, so that was a lot of fun. I attended that. It was a very rewarding experience. And other than that, there was something else that I thought of. I think Commissioner Padilla sort of threw me off with this whole meeting that I don't know about on January 24th. I'm wondering what hat I'm gonna be wearing at that meeting. But I will say, this, I know it may be a little bit warm, in here this morning, but this is and I know my county clerk's office probably suffers, along with everybody else on the first floor to the greatest extent, but it is so much better than the alternative, and so I'd like to, take a moment to thank our maintenance department for getting the boiler situation resolved, quickly after us realizing that it still wasn't working. You know, aging infrastructure is one of those challenging things that you really have to stay on top of. And for us, I don't know how long, I think the issues with the huge AC and, our HVAC system outside predate me. I don't know how long y'all have been dealing with it, but it's always a big relief when everything's working. So thank you to our maintenance department for doing that. So that one's
This
mine?
one's yours.
Okay, great. Well, his precinct is the courthouse, and it touches and concerns all of y'all, right? We'll talk about it.
That's north. Mine ends 4 blocks from here.
I think it's the commissioner to my left.
My office and I'll study the maps, we'll get back to you on
I
that.
can give you the answer to that, sir.
Yeah, I start way up the road, way up the road.
Well, you have to go back.
Otherwise, it's been a good start, to the beginning of the year, and I'm very optimistic, for the county, from a financial standpoint, an operational standpoint, and growth opportunities this year, I think are gonna be really good for us. So, hopefully we can stay on top and in front of that wave and have a great year. That's all I have. At this moment in time, we'll move on to agenda item number 6, public comment. Is there anybody that would wish to make a public comment at this time? We give you the podium. Yes, sir, Mr. Hinojosa.
Podium over here.
Yeah, if you don't mind, and we'll turn the, yeah.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me today. My name is Adam Hinojosa. I'm a candidate for State Senate District 27. That district was redrawn, as you all know, and it's pretty vast. It includes all the way down to Brownsville, the tip of our state over there, all the way up to South Corpus Christi, where I live, and I operate 5 small businesses with my 2 brothers. We've been in business for many years. I grew up in Corpus Christi. I've lived there for 35 years. And it also now includes Port Aransas, all of San Patricio County, and now encompasses B County. Good news for you guys, that is, if I can win this seat, I think that B County will have a lot more representation than you've ever had from a state senator's standpoint. And I think it's well deserved. As I've come throughout the city and the county and have met a lot of you here, I see the hard work that you're doing here. I came today really to listen more about what's going on in your county and to learn more about what you're trying to do, what your aspirations and goals are for the city and for the county. And I want to be part of that. I want to help in any way that I can once I'm there at that level. So I'm really here to listen more than to speak, but I just wanted to introduce myself and let you know that I'm here. And I want to, one-on-one hear more about each and all the other issues that you guys have that you would like to share with me, and we can work on it together, because I look forward to working with all of you real soon. So thank you for having me today, and have your contact information that I'll be getting with you individually. But thank you so much for having me here today.
Thank you, sir, and welcome. Is there anybody else that'd like to make a public comment? Yes, sir, Mr. Willow.
I'm required to go to a funeral at 9:30, so I won't be here for the normal agenda item.
Mhm.
So I'd just like to give a brief overview, and if you have anything to add at the end. As far as the COVID front, we are seeing an uptick of cases. The good point is, the hospital is not. They're having maybe 5 or 6 people in the hospital, as opposed to the 20 and 30 we had when the Delta variant was going through. So we have approximately 5 or 6 cases. Last report, none of them were on ventilators, which is a great news. And I did not see any children in the statistics of people in the hospital. Now, they change every hour. One thing that we're noticing is that we do have testing available at B County. Friday's testing was over at noon because we ran out of test kits.
Wow.
They had they had over 100 of them, and they utilized them before noon. So what's happening is they received more test kits. The company received more test kits, and will be here today from 2 to 6 this evening, and then again Wednesday and Friday. So I'm guessing, and I haven't really talked to him, because the owner of the company and his family have COVID, and they sound really bad, so they haven't been out and about. But they are saying that they're going to have to put like 100 per site, because they do here, they do Alice, they do Corpus, so they're going to limit to 100 test kits. So
It's the rapid test.
no, sir, it's taken 3 to 4 days, and with everybody getting tested at the same time, it's extending it sometimes to 5 days. So it's the rapid, it's not a rapid, excuse me,
It's the cheek swab, PCR, 4 or 5 days return time. So, and I'm sorry for, you know, you can't really talk on this, but if you have any questions, I'll be in the office probably around 11 o'clock. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Willow, and my condolences on your loss. Is there anybody else who'd like to make a public comment? Now's your time. Moving on, agenda item number 7, the following items are of an administrative nature. Commissioner's Court has been furnished documentation on each item, and all such items may be acted upon by one vote without being discussed separately unless requested by a commissioner or county judge.
Move to approve is presented.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any further discussion?
A couple comments to it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
There was, some budget amendments and line item transfers on this, can you explain?
Let me see, Hope. The HVAC was the extension
Okay,
for the sheriff's office.
the Greco,
Mhm.
okay,
And then the overtime pay for the salaries, that was, actually to, correct what we did with the art when we paid out.
did they not accept it, or was it a mistake, or was it
It
an
was just,
Go ahead.
oversight.
oversight?
We had a certain limited number of employees that we, included in the, ARP funding, that we weren't entitled to, do so under the rules as they came out. So it's one of those things where our committees tried so valiantly to stay abreast of the regulations that are constantly being updated, by the federal government, and, we kind of got in a little bit of a funding issue with a very limited number of employees. I think it's
Well, it says two.
two for the sheriff's office,
Yeah,
and I think there were 2
It
others.
was negligible.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay.
And then the, 805, that's for the match for the STEP grant. And this is just to balance at the end of the year.
Okay. On the step grant, had we had the match before or not,
Well, this is actually the first year, so there's always gonna be a match,
from now on?
from now. Yes, sir.
Couple of questions, Rick. And you got some more from him?
The other adjustment is for the tax office. I think they updated, and we just used whatever was left with the CARES money. We used this money.
Right. Okay.
Okay, you're doing so good. Let me ask you a couple of questions.
Okay.
Looking.
Have a long conversation.
Well, Grace, thank you for sitting in for me this morning.
At least he gave me a heads up. I was just ready for the grant.
No, it's just, it's the things that kind of, on our document solutions where we're leasing copiers and stuff, when we go overage on copies,
Yes,
one of them is $151 in overages. I was wondering if we need to look at that particular copy in that department and increase the base amount of copies.
yes, sir, we should.
Okay, I'll give you this. I'll give you
Okay,
this page.
perfect, yes, sir.
That's a good catch.
And then there's another one, Reliant Energy on utilities for the jail. Is that our P3 partner?
That, I don't know, I have to look into that.
Okay, I'll give you
That's
this
a
one.
Christina question.
Okay, I'll give you this one for Christina, because if it isn't our P3 partner, we need to get that on our P3 stuff, because the rates are a lot lower. I think it is, they may have changed.
Okay, yes, sir.
The other thing, this is a good thing, nothing that I'm gonna ask you. If y'all will look at the expenditures, this is for Commissioner Haggard, the Skidmore water supply, we started funding those, improvements down there. What was funded so far is a foundation and some engineering services, $39,000 out of that American Rescue Plan money.
Correct.
Yeah,
Mhm.
just
Yes.
wanted to bring that to everybody's attention, that,
Yes.
that money is going to help Skidmore through B County and through Commissioner Haggard's
Yes.
efforts.
And this is just the start. There's gonna
Yes.
be
Yes,
definitely.
I'll give you these after.
Okay, yes, sir.
That's it, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any further discussion? Well done, Ms. Cecilia.
Good
Thank
job.
you.
If there's no further discussion, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Moving on, discuss and consider action on the following items. Agenda item number 8, approve resolution authorizing submission of waiver requests for advanced funding agreements, AFAs, for off-system bridges within B County to the Texas Department of Transportation, TxDOT.
Move to approve.
I've got a motion, do I have a
Second.
second? I've got a motion and a second to approve. Any further discussion?
Ray, is this the one that's in Berkeley?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this It's been going on since 2017. Judge Moreno signed that letter to TxDOT, and it's been hanging on since then, and we finally got our place in line to take care of the bridge. And I believe it's all in-kind work that you're gonna,
Our 10% will be in fact, yes.
okay.
It's subject to the approval, right? That's what this is we're seeking approval.
Yes.
That's good.
Give you an update on what it is.
No, thank you, Commissioner, and thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. Any further discussion, questions, concerns? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Agenda item number 9, approve expo request for arena and auditorium fee waivers from TxDOT for their safety award banquet on February 17th, 2022. Okay, great. Are you Mr. Novosad?
Yes, I am.
We've never met before, I don't believe. If we
Yes,
have,
I've
I'm sorry.
spoken on the phone, I believe, before, and I've worked with,
Yeah,
I think, 3 of your 4 commissioners, so.
welcome. Thank you for being here this morning.
Do you need to go to the podium, or do you
Well,
need me to say anything?
you know, if you'd like to, you can.
Basically, we have a yearly safety awards banquet every year, and I think because of COVID restrictions, things like that, the facility is big enough for us to kind of spread out, so we wanted to have it in B County. We were thinking about having it in February, but because of the uptick in cases, even as a department, we've seen our cases have doubled just what we tracked within the department by double last week and again the week before that, so they've been increasing a lot. So we're trying to postpone it to April. I've got two dates from your secretary, and so we're looking at those 2 dates in April. We'd still like to try and follow through with the motion to get the waiver. We'd still like to have that. It's to recognize our employees for their efforts of being safe and, going through the whole year, trying to achieve our mission of having zero incidents and injuries.
Move to approve, Judge.
I'll second.
These folks are fantastic to work with, and Mr. Novosad is a great guy. He's always there for us. He responds immediately. I can't praise him enough, so,
Yeah.
yes.
I'd like to also say the same thing.
Yes.
I mean, every time you call him, even though you can hear him move that pile of paper out of the way so he can talk to you about his issues and what you're needing, and he works very diligently to
Yes.
keep it going, so,
At least we can help them out a little bit.
yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we know you have a lot of options and choices, and we appreciate TxDOT looking to B County to host their event. And, over the course of the last year, y'all been very active on some of our roadways. Thank you for all of that.
So we're trying to get a lot of stuff going, and trying to wrap a lot of them up. I know a lot of them are big, they're very large projects. Usually we don't have paving jobs that are that long, so they're very extensive projects. All of 59 corridor, all of the 21 corridor. So we still got done one more step from Skidmore South that I'm trying to work on to finish that 21 corridor. But there's a lot of stuff. I know y'all probably get some calls here too. I know we get some calls. Things happen, but we're trying to move it along.
I really appreciate all of y'all's efforts and yours in particular.
I appreciate y'all. I mean, it's a pleasure to work with your county and with the county commissioners. It's always a pleasure.
That's great to hear. Did we get that? Did the microphone catch?
Yeah.
We can transcribe that and then we can include it in next meeting's
Actually,
agenda.
the commission's court is the buffer between the public and TxDOT. So we take anger that is sent from the public and we kind of tone it down a little bit and give it to Nick, and then Nick sends it back in his terms and things get done. So I will admit.
And I know when we did the DPS wait station out there, man, Nick I bugged him 10 times a day, but we got it done. He did an awesome job.
Thank you for your patience with our commissioner.
Probably the other way around. That was my first one too, as commissioner.
We did good.
And I say it was a challenge, but I say we got it done. The next one should go faster.
Well, we appreciate your guys working with our road and bridge people. That's a partnership that is fantastic, the road and bridge and TxDOT.
Mhm.
I can't praise that enough. That is fantastic.
I say, I love working with Green County. Like I say, it's just a very good partnership. I say, a lot of good communication and always a lot of good ideas and stuff come from both ways.
To use a college word, it's symbiotic. It works good for each other, right?
Yeah, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Nick.
Moving on, agenda item number 10, approve award contract to Martin Electric Inc. for the electrical installation of the generator at the Pettis Municipal Utility District MUD water treatment plant and the potential alternates for electrical work at the Pettis Mud wastewater treatment plant as part of the county's General Land Office Texas Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery Grant Number 20-065-016-C056.
Move to approve. This is in my precinct, and
I'll second.
it's a long time coming, sir. It's a couple of years now we've been working on this.
Yes.
I have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Agenda item number 11, approve reimbursement for auditable voting machine funding agreement for the elections office. Ms. Warnix, if you'd like to, take a few moments and talk to the Commissioners Court about this, I'll give it to you in just 1 second. In front of each of the commissioners, I'm sorry, I didn't get this, completed until Saturday morning, so it wasn't able to be included in your, packet of information, but this is our application for reimbursement to the state of Texas. So that's the completed form that we're looking for, approval on. We're looking for, approval on this morning. Ms. Warnix.
Good morning, Commissioners, Judge Laura Warnick, Elections Administrator. This is our reimbursement from the government for the conversion to our Verity Dual equipment so that we have our voter verifiable, paper audit trail.
Okay.
And that's what it is, and they gave us 100% funding on the cost to do that.
So moved.
Second, and $242,339, and, have our
How much,
machine,
sir?
$242,339,
Yeah. Okay.
and have our machines come back after?
No, they have not. We had they're supposed to be for Friday.
Okay.
We had a little bit of issue with that. The only thing is, Judge, I was gonna ask you, the last version I saw is I'm thinking that possibility that these blanks need to be filled in with B County.
Oh, that's okay, no, I understand that. No, that's their proposed language.
Okay, so that you're good with it.
Yes, ma'am.
I've got it.
And this is interesting, to note, the upgrade is about a little less than $250,000. And the maximum reimbursement under the state of Texas rubric, if you were going to be able to utilize, these upgraded machines, before the November election, the max reimbursement amount is $251,000. If you delayed, and for the other counties that have delayed, the maximum reimbursement begins to decline and will continue to decline precipitously over the course of the next 4 years. So on behalf of Commissioners Court, Ms. Warnick, thank you for your efforts in bringing this to our attention, getting us on the front leading edge of this new development, and ensuring hopefully that B County is reimbursed 100% for the cost of these machines.
And we were in the first round of these. All the other counties that did not get in that first round will not get theirs converted until during the summer. So they will be using them for the first time in the general. We will actually be using ours starting with the March primary. So we'll have ours up there. So it'll be a little bit of a difference in training of our voters, but they're simple, easy to use. We have our LAT test, our logic and accuracy test incoming. These and things, the legislation is passed now that we have to check our hash. John might be able to give you a better, but what that is a security measure. It's just to verify that once that equipment has been completed and upgraded and done everything, it has a certain number. From what I understand, it's a pretty extensive number, and we have to get that from the Secretary of State's office. That's what's been approved, it's been certified, and then when we run that piece of equipment, we have to run the hash on that and compare those to make sure that nothing's been done with those, and we have to do that each and every election.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but every single voter in the primaries and then in the general election in B County, after they're done making their votes, they'll actually receive a computer printout that reflects the votes that they've made before they cast their votes.
That is correct. That is
So
correct.
every single voter in B County will vote the way they think they want to vote, and then they'll have a piece of paper, and they'll be able to confirm that they are in fact voting the way that they wanted to vote. And that piece of paper, that tallied the way that they want them to, and that their votes are in fact counted the way that votes have been counted in B County since the nineties. Is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
Great.
And just a reminder also, based on the court's and commissioner's recommendation, we did get in with the Secretary of State's office into the pilot group for the paper voter, audit trails. We are gonna be in a pilot program with them while they're developing their, needs for that. So we're in that.
That's wonderful. I'm so glad that we're participating in that to try to help improve.
Gonna have to do it, might as well learn it from scratch.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Improve the confidence of the Texas and B County voters in voting in Texas. So, thank you, Ms. Warren.
The main thing that everybody has to do is remember to put that paper in the scan, so that's when their vote gets cast.
And we'll have lots of people to help make sure that
Yeah.
that doesn't.
Well, I hope we have lots of people, I'm still looking, so.
So if you're interested and you're out there in the, metaverse, please come in real life and reach out to Laura Warnick, our elections administrator, and offer to, participate, in this very important part of our American democracy.
Thank you, sir.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Ms. Warnick. Agenda item number 12, approved contract for temporary equipment standby services between B County and Agreco LLC for the Sheriff's Office Jail.
Move to approve.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Moving on to agenda item number 13, approved Selective Traffic Enforcement Program STEP Grant contract for the Sheriff's Office.
Move to approve the comment.
I've got a motion and a second. Commissioner DeWitt, you have the floor.
Yes, sir, just a observation, on the signature page, one thing it says, there's a different section under the judge's signature that says authorized to electronically sign grant agreements and amendments, and it has a deputy, the auditor, and a grant administrator, and I'm wondering if we want that to be on there, Judge, or should it be our normal protocol where only the judge can sign even agreements and amendments?
I haven't seen that, so I
And it's all penciled in.
Oh, okay. Oh. Usually, any amendments, the judge just signs in all
Well,
grants.
that's why I'm asking, because the
So
way
I
this
think,
is
yeah,
set
I think
up,
we should leave it like
that
that.
these three people can electronically amend the contract, and I don't think
Yeah,
that's the
no.
way we operate.
No.
I would recommend, Judge, on the motion that we delete those three names.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, so the motion has been amended and seconded. Further discussion? Can't imagine Sheriff's Office, this is paperwork issue.
Only Chief
Yes,
Deputy Jones
paperwork
gets to
issue
sign.
was done that way last year with those three,
Yeah, Chief
three
Deputy.
signatures, down there. They don't amend it, it's just so they can electronically sign
It's a convenience
the
factor.
day-to-day to get paid, and, those signatures, those names need to be on there, is what they said, not to amend anything. I think the first one is just, the judge is signing for it, and the other three are authorized people to facilitate the grant. That's the way it happened last year.
Okay, if we actually need those to facilitate, I will take that back off the motion if you think it's good.
Well, Ms. Ueda, you, and this is again a little, I know this is, you're on, this is an additional list as a grant administrator, but did you and Ms. Cantu discuss this as far as, I would presume that we are giving these, the proposals that B County would provide these three individuals as authorized, to give you agency authority to act on behalf of B County with respect to your communications with the state. However, the authority for you to act on behalf of the county has to be delegated by this board for any amendments or any additional agreement. So I can see where we could end up in a little bit of a awkward situation if there's some act that y'all do that we disagree with at a later date. The county would be stuck. But from the purpose of, like Chief Deputy Jones mentioned, for payroll or things like that, I don't think that there's a big issue there. I think that is a convenience factor rather than me getting the email and then everybody sending me multiple emails saying, hey, you need to sign this amendment.
I agree. Let me read what it says. List sub-grantee administrators who have complete authority to enter into an agreement on behalf of the organization.
Yeah,
That's
no,
my
I know.
concern.
I agree with you. I agree with you. The way that that's drafted is different than what we're talking about our folks needing to do.
Is this the first? I mean, we renew stuff all the time,
No,
but I've
we did
never
it
seen this before.
Same form we signed last year.
And they're just like that.
Yes, that's the same exact.
And I'm guessing Ms. Cantu would have, like, if she's dealt with it before, if we had questions about it before.
I think she would have brought it up.
They feel like they need it.
Yeah.
We have a guillotine, we can use it, you know, there's a mistake.
Yeah, and I guess we can just say, Mr. Curia, if anything pops up and it becomes
Yeah.
an issue, just bring it back to
Right.
my attention immediately and we'll convene.
Yes.
I recommend we withdraw mine.
I'll withdraw second.
Back to the original motion
Yes,
in a
sir.
second?
Yes, sir.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Any further
Chief Deputy.
discussion? Yeah, thank you, Chief Jones, Chief Deputy Jones. If not, if there's no further discussion, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Agenda item number 14, approve Prodigy Solution, Inc. commissary software, hardware, and for fulfillment contract for the Sheriff's Office Jail.
Move to approve, a couple of comments.
I have a motion and a second. Commissioner DeWitt, you have the floor, sir.
First page, we need to change the address to the new address, from 1511 Toledo to 1509 Galloway. Same thing when we get down to the, last signature pages, it still has the old address. I'm sure it's just an oversight. And, we've got in witness thereof, we've got B County Sheriff's Office, that probably should be the county judge. Then the very last page, it talks about B County Board of Commissioners. Is that where we all need to sign, or is that normal?
I'd have to review it again.
Yeah, I saw that too, and I think, you know, if the Sheriff's Office and Prodigy Solutions enter into a contract and by our vote, we approve it, and then I sign on behalf of the, Commissioner's Court, I think we could change the language. I don't know that it really matters. I thought that too. I was
Yeah,
like, this is,
it's no big deal, but,
you know,
yeah.
maybe they're not from Texas.
Well, this is probably a form they use nationwide.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also I noticed that the, net back to the to the sheriff's office is 30%.
And the scope of what is offered.
Oh, mercy, it just goes on and on and on. And I'm assuming it's a terrible word, but I'm assuming that we offer the basic necessities to the person that's incarcerated, so stuff like that. And if they want something special, they have to go through the commissary.
Yes, sir, that's exactly right. We actually limited, there's some stuff we don't want, in the jail.
Yeah.
But there's, for a lot.
Anyway, thank you, sir.
Thank you all. Anything further? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. We'll, update the contract terms, or Chief Deputy Jones can help us with that, your contact. Great. Move on down the road. Agenda item number 15, approve and sign for new account with QTS for the B County Sheriff's Office.
Move to approve.
Got a motion? Do I have a second? This is largely, housekeeping. Motion and a second. Further discussion?
I believe that is, a company, that fixes the, air chute system. We had to get an account with them, for them to come in and look at it. It's accident.
The
The one that's not working right now?
Yeah. And, of course, it's out of order.
I don't know that I want to ask, but what? Wait, what?
The vacuum tube that goes from the dispatch to the jail, that shoots the paperwork back and forth.
It's in a big company.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Except at the bank, they last 10, 15 years.
It's really the jail of the future. Steampunk era technology.
Yeah.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Just buy two big air compressors. Just let it go.
Right.
Let it go. Yeah, keep it by a big air compressor. With a two-way valve on it.
I think they need the exercise, make them walk.
Here-
Other personnel.
Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Please give us an update, let us know how the pneumatic tube is working again. Always the most exciting part of any movie. Agenda item number 16, approve CM company auctions for contract for recently disposed items for B County.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in, I'm sorry.
I think this is just a different company that's actually looked at the old.
I just wanted to give y'all an update.
Yeah, hi.
I'm gonna
Identify
assume it
yourself,
was the lady that sits right here, that's
Ms.
not here
Cantu?
today, yeah.
but can you identify yourself
Oh,
for our
yeah,
record?
Nadia Stevens.
Hey, Ms. Stevens, sorry this morning.
Good. So we went ahead, we've got a little small auction of just different items from Corpus, some stuff I have at home. We have the truck that which I guess y'all already approved of, the Chevy with no engine, and then the safe that's out of the county yard in Skidmore. That's kind of come up for auction for previews tonight. I'm gonna put it on for 2 weeks. She showed me the gel. I didn't know if y'all wanted to go ahead with that. I've already got some people interested in the tables and the toilet and then the broiler. And then gentleman in Mexico was interested in the bars. But my thing is, I don't know how we're gonna get them off without completely damaging everything, because I don't know how they were put in there.
On that, we'll discuss further, we'll let you
And
continue
she
to
showed
talk
me
with
the,
our
like,
auditors
the
office.
kitchen stuff too.
Mhm.
And there, and I know that'll sell, because we've got people that continuously email us for restaurant equipment.
Awesome. Well, exciting. Hopefully this, and this is the first time we've, done any business with your company,
Yes,
correct?
sir.
All right, well, we're looking forward to it.
And I'll keep y'all
subject to
updates
the
on
vote.
when it does open, I'll let y'all know.
Are we gonna be able to sell that safe by the pound?
It's
It's heavy. for
Yeah,
us.
I know, that's why I looked at it, and that's why I put in the description that they will help lift it with a forklift, but it's over about 1,000 pounds.
Yeah. 4 foot tall, 2 feet wide, about this much
6,000.
storage space inside.
6,000 pounds?
Yeah.
Good Lord, mercy.
No, I'm exaggerating on the 6,000. Ray can tell you how far the back wheels came off the back.
Yeah, I just wanted y'all to know that that's already up coming up for auction, and if y'all decide y'all have anything else, and if y'all want us to auction the desks and everything in the jail, we can do that as well.
Ms. Stevens, thank you so much for being here this morning.
Yes, sir.
Is there any
Thank you.
further discussion or other questions?
All I wanted to add was that Veronica from the auditor's office called me on this company, and said she was very helpful in walking through it. Her eyes lit up every time she saw something that
I did,
we
I
could
felt
get
like a
rid
little
of,
kid.
so.
Except the jail's haunted, and I'm not going in there back by myself again. I won't say that. I was scared. It did, it had water dripping like the horror movies. In the very dark, and then there were no lights up there, and all I could
Well,
think
we're
was-
getting way off topic.
We're trying to fill this
If
building.
you think that was fine, let's take her to Corpus Christi St.
Come on now.
I'm done. I'm done. Let's put it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Moving on, agenda item number 17, approve new standard mileage rates effective January 1, 2022. In your packet, it shows how the federal government, made some minor increases to the standard mileage, reimbursement rate, and we're just updating our records to reflect this.
Second.
We got a motion in multiple seconds. I think Commissioner Lenny was first, no
Yeah.
offense intended, Commissioner Haggard.
I'll yield.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Agenda item number 8, approve request to declare maintenance, 2014 Chevy Silverado VIN number ending 4991 as non-functional and unsalvageable to be posted to government auction site and removed from net data inventory. Motion approved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
The only thing I'd like to say is thank you guys for going through that big list, picking out those that we need to get rid of. Thank you.
If there's no further discussions, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Agenda item number 19, American Rescue Plan, ARP, status and projects. Commissioners Lenny, Commissioners DeWitt, Commissioners DeWitt. Sorry.
That's right. I did eat a lot over Christmas.
You on the floor, if you'd like to give us an update or
Yeah.
kind of tell us where we're at.
Some exciting news. You know, anytime we're dealing with millions of dollars, it's always exciting when it's coming to us. And we have several projects in the works. I think every commissioner got a copy of those projects and the status. We don't have time today to go over the whole list. But something that we're considering, and the committee will meet after the meeting, the rules, they keep finalizing interim final rules. Mr. Lenny and I were fortunate enough to go to some training in Edna, and they explained to us there that whenever you're in the pipelines doing something with these American Rescue Plan money, whatever interim rule you're operating under, that's where you stop. If they change the rule over here and say, you can't do that anymore, if you did it under here, you're okay. So whatever interim final rule that you're under, it's final for you, even if they change it over here and you operate it over here. Now,
Grandfather.
yes, grandfather, thank you. Now, the good news is, we keep looking at our revenue loss reimbursement. And some thoughts that I had, and I haven't shared with many of the committee yet, we're getting into more and more situations where these interim final rules are changing the procedures on what we're trying to do, but we can draw the money, put it in a bank account, and possibly do the same thing. Now, over the weekend, we got a clarification that is really good, and let me see if I have it here. Basically, it says that, how many million is it? Up to 10 million?
10 million.
That, that money will come to the counties if we ask for it, and we may be pretty much under a lot less restrictions on how we use that money. So that may be where we're going, instead of going through all this big process and procurement and engineering and one thing and another. We take the draw on the money, put it in a bank account, and then use our normal procedures to dole it out for whatever it is that's approved that we can do. And that's kind of where we're going, and that's exciting. I
On
think
the lost revenue part?
Yes.
Or on the ARP part?
it's the same thing. It's the lost revenue under the ARP, and we just got that information over the weekend.
Would be as restricted.
Not as restricted at all. And it's up to 10 million, and our total is a little over 6 million, so we're good. So that sounds really good, that we take the money, put it in the bank account, spend it. So,
Before,
go ahead, please forget.
you have some yeses and some nos. There's a no on that. I thought we approved that this station. There's a no.
We were waiting on, more engineering information, I think, what it
No,
was.
they're waiting on the, how they were gonna do the FRP. That's the only thing we're waiting on.
Okay.
On which one?
On the $200,000 for the, lift station at BDA.
Oh, yeah, I don't know why that's a no.
Yeah, it should be, yes, because we did approve that.
We did approve
And
it.
it could be she just missed updating that. And Grace was touch base.
Okay, I saw that as a no, and I said, no, we've already.
We have.
No, yeah, it has.
Yes. And see, even that one, Commissioner, if we're understanding the way this money may come back, we may be able to write a check.
But now,
And I'll find out tonight at BDA whether, we got the procurement, or how they're gonna do the FRP. Right. Because that was the last step
Right.
that Grace told me that we had to do.
Exactly. Of course, we'll have to still follow all current county procedures, but we won't have to throw the federal procedures on top of those. So it's very encouraging. And I'm just guessing now, thinking about the way government works. Remember, this is nationwide. It's just not B County or Beeville or Texas. It's nationwide. They have probably gotten so many complaints from all the entities. Hey, man, you've got so darn many restrictions, we can't spend the money. That somebody up there said, you know what, why don't we just give you the money and you spend it per your normal procedures and your auditable procedures? That's my guess.
So we just gotta be careful on how we spend it, so we don't have.
We'll have to follow normal purchasing procedures.
Okay.
Yeah, we can't just willy-nilly, here's $100,000, here's $50,000. Yeah, there'll still be restrictions, but there'll be more ours and state restrictions and fed on top of that.
Rather than the federal regulations, basically, the federal
Yes.
government said for counties and municipalities that are receiving, a smaller amount, up to $10 million can be, attributable to your lost revenue. And that's where the reporting to the federal government would end. And we could theoretically, what the committee is gonna be looking at, hopefully this is the direction, because it does simplify things, is our committee would still have to go through the process of completing whatever paperwork application we have for that lost revenue. But once that's approved by the federal government, we drop that into our general operating account.
Correct.
And we can utilize those funds however we see fit. But one of the things that I think the committee was starting to discover after I think it was in November when we went through and started and really approved some substantial expenditures, what the committee started to find was that the federal regulations were so much more restrictive than the state and our local policies available on the Texas, buy board, that wouldn't qualify, for the procurement regulations promulgated by the federal government. We still have to go out for competitive bid, and so we have to go through these additional, one, delay of time, two, manpower, time-sucking, applications, where we're still following state and state law and our local, policies with respect to procurement and fairness and whatnot of it. I think the federal government was probably like, this is gonna be unwieldy for us as the federal government, not just for the local government as well. So hopefully it pans out this way, because it would definitely make everybody's job so much easier. It's really, really promising. Thank you.
Well said, Jim.
Is there anything further at this time?
No, sir, unless somebody has some questions or
Well,
something.
yeah, I just have, on the EOC Motorola radios, is there waiting on,
What page-
documentation?
What
or-
page is it?
It's on the last page, third from the bottom, 2216. I noticed it falls under several of the others that were approved, but this one wasn't. I was just wondering if there's something we're
think
missing.
First thing that came in, that information came in real late.
Yeah.
It was late getting to us. That's basically, we just got it.
Okay.
It should go.
So it may just follow through, it just
That's
it just
correct.
hasn't been.
It was late.
Okay. That's the only other one I'm looking at.
That should be it.
And from what I understand, Grace, correct me if I'm wrong, so far, our revenue reimbursement calculation is getting close to 3 million.
Yes,
So,
and we can select either to go with the calculation, or we can go with the final rule where we can move it all to the, general fund. All the 6 million that we're gonna get.
which move it where it's unrestricted.
That sounds easier.
Well, there's still gonna be restrictions. There's still gonna be, unfortunately, there's still gonna be federal and state restrictions.
Reporting procedures, one thing or another, but a whole lot less restrictions.
Well, yes, some restrictions, but, GrantWorks can help us and direct us more, make sure that we don't,
Yeah, step off the cliff.
So we'll go
Yes.
to Plan B.
Yeah,
All right.
Plan B, hopefully, maybe not as great as.
So all we need to know is, when the committee meets, is when we need to bring it to the court
Yes.
for that information to finalize that.
Yes, sir. Mhm.
We don't have that date yet, but it's coming.
That GrantWorks did hire two new employees just to concentrate on procurement on their projects. So they're working on that, and that's next, to get engineers or whatever. any kind of project.
Very good.
Thank you, Greg.
You're welcome.
That's all, Commissioner?
You did very well.
Great. Thank y'all very much. I don't think there's any action to take.
Let's see, our other committee member left. Grace, you're on the committee, is there anything you want to bring up?
No, just the GrantWorks hired people just to concentrate on our procurement.
All right, thank
On our procurement?
Well,
Everybody.
procurement, everybody's procurement.
Thank you, Grant.
I like to think it's just ours, but.
Grant, we're
not
gonna
that-
treat you.
But Angela's doing a great work, so is Dee Dee, and, so.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear it.
That's all good.
Thank you, Commissioner.
No action needed today.
None will be taken. Agenda item number 20, update, discussion, and possible action regarding B County COVID-19 status preparedness and contingency planning. We heard a brief update during public comment from Mr. Willow, our COVID-19 coordinator. That is, in some respects concerning, but in many respects heartening. Hopefully our hospitalization count remains low. And please, if you think you may have been exposed to COVID, or you may be suffering from COVID, if you're concerned in any respect, our toll-free, our hotline number is still active. You can locate it on the B County website. And as Mr. Willow said, there will be testing tomorrow, Wednesday, and Friday from 2 to 6 for anybody who needs to get tested. And that testing is free to you if you have no insurance coverage. If you have insurance coverage, they ask for your insurance carrier. There's a reimbursement program that's going on with the state. So there is no barrier to somebody receiving a COVID test aside from that individual being able to avail themselves physically of receiving a COVID test. So be safe and keep doing everything right. Thank you all. Is there anything further? Any other questions, comments, statements?
I think that's something. Just a reminder, Congressman Cloud, we're gonna have a meet and greet for him on January 27th from 5 to 7. at Whispering Oaks, is that correct? Everyone is welcome. When they did the redistricting, they put him in our district instead of someone Vela. So just want to put it out there that everyone is welcome to this meet and greet for Congressman Cloud. And yeah, what's the address to?
The address is 2400 Wofford Lane. So it's basically pretty much when you pass Aztec, and it's right behind, the street behind Aztec to the east. And it dead ends right on that location. But we'll have some signage out there. It's from 5 to 7.
You're not an RSVP?
No, you gotta, if you can.
Yeah.
Please RSVP, let us know how many people can come out.
Right.
We're expecting the county to show us everybody we can out there. We need all the help we can get.
Anything further on COVID-19?
Oh, this is your referring.
Yes, sir.
I just ended it. 'Cause
You gotta understand what side of the table he said it was.
Good information, I'm glad. Thank you for
Oh,
sharing.
We didn't do that to your car.
We're so close to having a good morning. There are no executive session items. We move on to agenda item number 21, adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
I have a motion.
That's all second.
I have a second. See, in B County, we're all about uniting, not dividing. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you, everybody, for your presence here today. Have a great week. Best of luck to you. Thank you, gentlemen.
Have an ornery today.
This is a fun one. We can all go home. Always.
Gotta be on there.
Actually, my son said he couldn't read